Welcome to Oregon Indie Film, a video podcast that shines the light on Oregon's independent film industry. I'm your host, Dawn Sellers. I interview Oregon's independent filmmakers who offer insights into the creative process, challenges, and triumphs of making movies in Oregon. This summer, I'm doing a series of interviews with filmmakers whose work will be screened at the Portland Festival of Cinema, Animation, and Technology, also known as PFCAT, happening August 18th through the 23rd at OMSI in Portland. At PFCAT, you'll experience 170 indie films from 30 countries, filmmaker Q&As, educational panels, and networking events. It's 6 days of events that brings our local community together through visionary film and animation. Find the full schedule and tickets at pdxfestofcinema.com. Today's episode features Therese Gietler and Andy Batt. With a motto of, "We don't fool around," their documentary, My Burning Pianist, has been selected to screen and nominated for an award at the Portland Festival of Cinema, Animation, and Technology on Friday, August 21st at 6 p.m. Created by the Ministry of Stupid Ideas, a disorganized religion of clowns with a food cart permit, My Burning Pianist is where music meets fire. Notes trigger flames. Pressure creates bursts of heat, and each show becomes a combustible blend of art, engineering, and sheer absurdity. I hope you enjoy this episode of Oregon Indie Film. Welcome to Oregon Indie Film. I am here today with Therese Gietler, is that right? Gietler?
That's correct.
And Andy Batt, the producer and director of My Burning Pianist. Which will be screening at PFCAT, the Portland Festival of Cinema, Animation, and Technology. Yeah, maybe I'll get it. I'm doing a series of interviews with filmmakers who are screening at this festival this summer, and I'm so excited that you guys are here today to talk about your documentary short.
We are thrilled to be here. Thanks you.
For having us.
And so we'll just start off with the hard question. Who are you and what do you do?
The hard questions. Artists, I mean, I guess that's sort of the top of the list there, because we come at this from, at this point, being multi-hyphenates, multidisciplinarians. We make films, we do photography, we produce, we create sculptural art. I don't know what else. Why don't we throw other things in there?
Sure. Hi, I'm Therese. This is Andy. And we do very many things. I am the executive producer of Sparking Creativity. That is but one of my many roles, the many hats that I wear. Andy Batt is the director of several episodes. Andy, would you like to introduce all those episodes?
No.
Oh, he has produced Migrations and My Burning Pianist. One more, though. Is there one more?
No, I've got two in the can.
That's right.
Okay. And My Burning Pianist isn't the first film that you've had accepted into festivals. Like, you've won other awards.
Yes.
For your other works.
Yes.
Migrations was at PFCAT?
Yes, it was.
Last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last year, I've had several episodes in several different festivals over the last few years.
So when you say episodes, it sounds like you have an overall plan.
That's an interesting thing. I started this blind. I took on a role with the Portland Winter Light Festival as their communications director, and I recognized pretty quickly that I had this unique position where in my former life I worked with a lot of filmmakers, and now in my current life I'm working with artists, and both of them fascinate me in a wonderful way. So what if I did a little bit of matchmaking and started putting directors in touch with artists that I wanted to know more about? And that's where that first episode worked out so well, and I still can't believe how well that worked out, that I was like, oh, maybe I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
So I kept going and making more episodes.
Wonderful. Are you both from Portland?
No. Well, though I think officially we're Portlanders now. We've been here since the 90s, so I feel like we're Portlanders.
Yeah.
But Jersey, and then Rochester, and then Therese is also from the East Coast.
Oh, wow. What brought you to Portland in the 90s?
A desire not to get stuck in Rochester.
Oh, okay.
We made a list of cities, and Portland was the tip top, and here we are. We've been here ever since.
Nice, very nice. So let's talk a little bit about My Burning Pianist. So I love sort of the log line. Created by the Ministry of Stupid Ideas, a disorganized religion of clowns with a food cart permit. Oh my gosh.
It's all true.
My Burning Pianist is where music meets fire. Notes trigger flames, pressure creates bursts of heat, and each show becomes a combustible blend of art, engineering, and sheer absurdity. I love that. So what was your inspiration for this documentary?
Well, I think Therese wanted to throw me to the wolves a little bit and tossed me to a pack of rabid artist clowns to see what would happen. So it wasn't so much an inspiration as Therese recognized that these guys had something special, something unique that had a story that could be told. And I don't know. Do you want to talk about throwing me to the
Oh,
clown
I
pile?
do. Andy had wanted a story that he said, quote, "I can sink my teeth into." And I was like, oh boy, I'm going to give you the Ministry of Stupid Ideas. Have fun. And then I went and walked away.
Oh, yeah.
They
left you with the group of clowns.
Yeah, I mean, they are. Well, so when I do this kind of work, I try not to go in with preconceived notions. I try not to go in with an idea of like, oh, it's going to be this, that, or the other. I just sort of try to throw myself into this and learn their stories as I'm doing the work. And so I really had no other, I'd met a few of them a few times off and on, but I really didn't have any concept of what I was getting myself into until I went to that very first planning meeting and filmed them, and then I had a very clear idea of what kind of chaos I was in for. And I don't know, it was, I mean, I could talk all day about them. They're a fascinating bunch of people. It's a collective, but there's nobody really in charge. They come together to make crazy art. Somebody comes up with a ridiculous idea, and then they brainstorm, and then they divide up by some magic thing, they divide up who does what, and then they go off and they start making, and then they come back together and they assemble it, and now you have this insane thing. So they don't work like anybody else I've ever
So
filmed.
do they have a studio that they work out of,
Oh,
or
no,
do they just
no,
sort of go to their own
these are
garage?
basements, these are garages, these are kitchen tables. These are guys who build everything from scratch. If they don't know it, they teach themselves. So it's a very chaotic collective of very smart, intelligent, wonderful chaos monkeys.
That working with fire.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, as it turns out, these are the exact people you want to be working with fire.
Okay.
Because they both respect it and understand it, but are also willing to do absurd things with it. So,
I think, too, one of the things I find really most interesting about this episode and people's reaction to it has been people saying, I cannot believe how much I love those guys. I saw the trailer or whatever, and I was like, ooh, those guys look whatever preconceived notion they had, and that it is absolutely blasted out of the water when they see this episode, and it touches you deeply, and it's just very unexpected.
well, that was one of the things I learned early on at the beginning of the process of making this, was that it wasn't going to be necessarily a story about the art piece. I mean, it was, but it was not just the story about the art piece. It was going to be about these individuals that were making the art piece, because each one of them's a different personality, and each one of them has a story that needs to be told in some fashion. And there is no one artist. It's a collective group, but it really became storytelling about each person's contribution, each person, the way they approach things. And I don't know, it ended up being way more heartfelt than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about the process of filming them. So you met them and had a planning meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, and then where did it go from there?
We had drinks at a bar with a couple of them and talked about a little bit about their sort of origin story and what they were planning on doing, and but it was all very loose. And then I showed up to the very first group planning meeting. It was in a living room, and there's just a bunch of people all drinking and shouting over each other and coming up with ideas. And then, at one point, Jonas calls me out on camera. So it was like, that was a very big, like, oh, so this is the kind of punk rock documentary it's going to be. I am not a fly on the wall for this. Don't pay any attention to me. These guys are paying absolutely attention to me, and they're very aware that I'm there. So I was like, all right, if that's the way it's going to be, I'm just going to be there. So I just embedded in with these guys and figured I'm throwing out all my normal rules of how I film and frame and shoot, whether it's photography, documentary, narrative, any of that. This is going to be a lot looser, a lot more unstructured. And I am just going to kind of buckle up and go for the ride with these guys.
They sort of welcomed you and brought you into their absurdity.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, or they relished the chance to see what they could get away with.
Okay.
I mean, they at our friends and family screening, our moderator asked them if they knew any other words besides the F word, because in that first few minutes of the film, there's a lot of F-bombs.
As one would expect when you're working with fire.
Yeah. And at that original screening, the first screening we did in December of 25, I had let them know that I was screening 4 episodes of the series and that I needed one of them to be representative to come up for the Q&A. And this is just group mentality, because when we got up and everyone went on stage for the Q&A, every single one of them was on that stage.
I was just like, not just one, they all
no,
there's nobody in charge.
There is nobody in charge. There is no spokesperson.
So how many of them are there?
Well, it depends on how you count the ministry. Once you see the film, you'll see a certain. There's a core group of people that worked on this project. Okay. But in the end credits, you see the list of the extended ministry family. There's a lot of people who have been with the ministry for a long time. There's people who have left us, unfortunately, but are still fondly remembered. Steve. Yeah. Steve put the FU in fun. So Steve is name-checked throughout. I mean, I learned stories of Steve while filming. I never met Steve, but I feel like I know him a little bit. So it's a big, loose, chaotic family of clowns.
Wow.
Some literal clowns, some just more clownish.
Right. Wow. Amazing. And so were there any big surprises? I mean, it sounds like there were lots of surprises along the way, but was there one that really stands out while you were filming?
I mean, big surprise. I mean, they're unpredictable. Mm-hmm. But they still are all driving towards a common goal, right? They all work their asses off. They are very driven individuals, even when they're playing. So I don't know if that was surprising. I guess a favorite sort of moment, and you can hear it in the film. I mean, this is days before the festival, and they still have not had a chance to test any of their pyrotechnics. And they've been talking about it and trying to get it done, and it keeps getting booted down the road. And finally, it's like, there's only a few more days to test this and then make any changes. So we finally got out to a parking lot, got all of the gear set up, and they, for the very first time, they're testing a new high-pressure system. So they pressurized the whole thing up and set it off, and it was just this 30, 40-foot pillar of flame, and you can just hear all of them break out laughing. It's just this giant, it's a literal flamethrower. And, just the hearing them all laugh And then it happened again, and they all laughed. I mean, it's just, there was a joy to that. So it's one of my favorite unexpected moments from creating this.
Well, I think that's really brave of you to not know what was going to happen and be there with this project.
I
with
mean,
your expensive camera equipment
I-
yourself, your life.
I've been strapped to the front bumper of a truck and following race cars around a racetrack. I've had tennis balls served at me at 100 miles an hour right past my face. I've had 300-pound linebackers flying through the air, landing at right in front of my camera. I've done a lot of dumb things and I've survived them, and so maybe I have a little bit of a risk taker in that. But also, I've been watching these guys build all this equipment. It might look crazy. It might look like they are scary and dangerous, and they are absolutely not any of those things. They're super competent. So I watched them put all this equipment together. I watched them test it. I watched them obsessively make sure there were no leaks. I watched them do all the right things. So I knew it wasn't going to blow up.
You trusted them.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what it was going. I didn't know it was going to be 30-foot pillar of flame, but yeah, I trusted them.
Wow.
I think for me, as the executive producer and knowing that the filming was happening, and this is at the same time that I am communications director for the festival, so I'm very, very busy. And I'm hearing stories here and there from Andy, but not really. I know he's out there, and it was cold that year, and it rained a lot that year. It was unpleasant, and I kept wondering, why are you not coming home yet? Why are you still there with them? And knowing that he had no script, even well into post-production, he had no script. And I have no idea how this is going to turn out. And to see that final scene and the words that you put over the top catches my breath every single time. And I feel such a deep gratitude toward my position in being able to play this role, to the ministry for what they do and what they bring and their reasons why they bring it, and to Andy for giving the story the space and the time to allow it to reveal itself to him. Mm-hmm. It was really, it is a favorite episode for me. And I'm a director of several episodes, but it's his that I'm like, oh, it just touches my heart.
I love that. I love it. How long is this episode?
It is 19 minutes and 58 seconds long, because that way it is not a 20-minute documentary.
Okay, perfect.
So it's an under 20.
It's an under 20.
Yeah.
And have
by
you
2
screened
seconds.
this documentary at other festivals, or will this be its premiere?
This is the Portland premiere. We did show it here in Hillsborough at the Hillsborough Film Festival a few months ago.
And it's going to the West Sound Film Festival afterwards.
Yes, we'll be heading to West Sound Film Festival in Bremerton, Washington next week.
Oh, nice. Nice. Let's see. Do you guys want to talk about budget for this film, for your episodes, or not? You don't have
I
to.
would love to talk about the
Let's
budget.
dig in on what the budget was. Let me hang on. Let me think about it.
Add it up.
Yeah, I am.
Make sure you get everything.
So I will throw a shout out to Pro Photo Supply. They've been a long time supporter of many things that we've done. So they loaned a bunch of equipment to us. So that helped. That was $0. And then I definitely spent some money on beer and food. So there's going into the negative there, and probably gas. So all in, probably the budget was a couple $100 to just cover gas and food and beer.
Because it was basically you.
For the most part, it was me. I did have a few collaborators that were able to jump in every once in a while and provide me with either a second camera op or audio or a little bit of drone footage. But by and large, it was just me running around, sometimes in the rain, and because I'm very
Gear-centric?
gear-centric.
That's a very, very respectful way to put that. As the wife of someone who has
I like
a lot of
filming
stuff.
I like filming with good equipment.
Right.
I'm not interested in running around with a little tiny drone camera. I'm not interested in that kind of filming. I want to film it with a beautiful camera that does beautiful color. And so I carried a heavy rig around and filmed with it all by myself with no AC and no sound guy and no support. And so this was just, a lot of it was just me chasing these guys, showing up when they showed up, staying until they left.
And complaining about it every single day.
That's absolutely not true.
Today I'm chatting with some of the filmmakers you'll meet at the Portland Festival of Cinema, Animation, and Technology, also known as PFCAT, happening August 18th through the 23rd at OMSI. At PFCAT, you'll experience 170 indie films from 30 countries, filmmaker Q&As, educational panels, and networking events. It's 6 days of events that brings our local community together through visionary film and animation. There's a free Creator Expo on Saturday, August 22nd you won't want to miss. Find the full schedule and tickets at pdxfestofcinema.com. This link will be included in this episode's show notes. Hey there! If you're enjoying this episode of Oregon Indie Film, don't go anywhere. We've got more great conversation coming up. And if you believe in uplifting local voices and the power of independent storytelling, we'd love your support. Hit that follow button, share the show with a friend, or leave us a quick 5-star review. It makes a big difference. Want to get more involved? Reach out at OregonIndieFilm@gmail.com. Now, back to the episode.
That is not true.
Lies.
We won't tell the clowns this. Hopefully the
Oh,
clowns
they don't
won't
care. They were there.
So normally, in your other work, you are a photographer. That's kind of your main, am I correct? That's your main gig?
I mean, I'll make this short because I don't feel like this is what the point of this podcast is. Right. We ran an advertising photography business for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. The market started changing before the pandemic, right, and we saw a lot of writing on the wall. Mm-hmm. And then after the pandemic, things got even worse and dumber. And the entire market for professional photography has been turned invisible. It's gone. I don't know. It's morphed to the point of unrecognizability. So we don't do a lot of that anymore. I'm much more enjoying the filming process, even though it's not really making any money. But it's a storytelling style that I very much enjoy. We wear a lot of other hats these days because as artists, it's kind of what you have to do if you want to make any living at all.
Right.
So.
Well, and I think, the pandemic changed so much for all of us. What did you two do during the pandemic? Did you have a big switch other than the commercial photography?
No, everybody got to stay home like we were staying home.
Right. But did you work on projects? Did you learn new things?
I mean...
Let me answer.
Sure, yeah.
I'll take over for this. We were very fortunate during the pandemic to receive a commission for a job for a bank. It was an enormous job. It was 2 weeks long.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah, you're right. It was 3 weeks long where Andy and I and our assistant slash...
drone op
right.
/ assistant camera / Travis's,
Yeah, so
amazing.
The three of us bubbled up, got onto a motorhome, and traveled and did landscape photography and drone photography out in rural Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. And so it was kind of perfect. It was the hardest job I've ever done because we also had to do all our own cooking, right, all our own everything. That motorhome became everything to us. Our production hub, our restaurant, our bar, our everything, But that really was helpful in getting us through to have that one single job. And otherwise, we got the laser cutter going.
We set up a big craft area in the house, and we spent a lot of time making things.
Yeah, that really launched our maker career.
I brewed a lot of beer. I made sourdough like everybody else. I perfected my Neapolitan pizza recipe.
We got fat.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We ate a lot.
My husband and I road tripped a lot during the pandemic too, and so I relate to that. Sort of, you're in your bubble in your car or RV. We just had our SUV. We didn't even splurge on an RV, but it was a really interesting experience during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's singular.
It is. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
As I'm sure it sounds like you guys are too.
Yeah.
So
I want to just say, back to be really transparent on the answer to your question.
Oh, the budget.
What was
Yeah.
the budget?
Yeah.
The budget was zero.
Yeah.
We didn't have, I have not been really, I have one grant that I've been able to secure, which is helping to pay for the hard drives. That's just about it.
Right.
Because
Which are
hard
really
drives and the price of,
expensive.
the price of hard drives now is
Oh.
outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm continuing to write grant proposals and trying to get some funding to the filmmakers, because it's really uncomfortable to continually be asking people to work for free. I do give each filmmaker a wide berth to do and tell the story the way they want. This story in particular is described as gonzo journalism, and it's pretty close to spot on. I didn't, give him any creative direction other than a few things, like the length of the film. And
Keep it under 20.
What was the original length of the film you wanted?
under 10.
Oh, well, there was so much though.
Well, I had a 40-minute film at one point that had a lot more other side stories in it that I love, and it basically just got cut down to the bone, and I kept cutting away until there was nothing left to cut, and I sent it to a couple friends who I trust, and they basically said, you could cut this down, but it would make a very different film. So if you want a 5 or a 10-minute version, you just have to throw out the concept of what you've created and just do something else. It's like, well, I don't think I can.
No.
So
This is truly a story that needed to be this long.
So you were given a 10-minute time frame from your producer. You ended up with a 40-minute film, and then
it's a compromise,
compromised
yeah.
on a 20,
It's-
under
it's-
20.
The story wants to be told in the length it wants to be told, right? I'm not Christopher Nolan. I don't get to dictate terms, but there just got to a point where I couldn't take anything else out of this film without significantly changing the story, without changing what was actually being told. You wouldn't, if I cut it down anymore, you wouldn't learn the stories of these guys. You wouldn't learn the process. You would just, it might be shorter, but it would definitely not be better.
No.
And I will say, from watching it multiple times and screening it to friends, and I don't think it feels like a 20-minute film.
No.
I think you buckle in and you get to the end and you're not 100% sure how much time has elapsed.
Oh, I imagine so. It just sounds like it's very engaging, and time flies when you're watching something like that. Do you have a desire to go back and make it into a 40-minute film, or are you happy with the under 20?
I think what I might do at some point, man, it might just be for the clowns, is go do essentially a short deleted scenes kind of thing. Because there's some nice, there's stuff in there that was great. It just didn't make the final cut. But no, I'm pretty happy with what it is, because it does hum along. There are no flat spots. There are no quiet moments that you're like, well, this could be taken out. It just goes straight through. So I'm very pleased with it.
I can't wait to see it. I'm really excited to see it. So let's talk about distribution. So you're doing the festivals with this and other films. Distribution's changed, as we all know, evolving. Nobody really knows what's going on. Do you have a plan?
I have a plan for distribution about as much as I had a plan for when I started this, which was I had no plan. And now I have branding. I have a website. I have, it just seems unthinkable that I've been able to pull this much together, which also I'm firmly a believer in if you're in flow and you're on the right path, why interrupt that? Now, I do, as a marketer, understand what that means in terms of having to allocate a budget and dream about where this goes next. It's kind of interesting, though, because as an artist myself in the light-based art world, and as a filmmaker, and as a producer of a festival, I don't have a lot of time to think about it. So we were talking about it on the car over here, like, what does distribution look like?
Distribution it's a simple transaction, right?
Right.
Somebody needs content, we have great content, they fund it, they pay for that intellectual property, enough money that it both supports us and lets us make more, right? And in a big pipe dream kind of way, it's lucrative enough that we can support other filmmakers. We've had a lot of filmmakers in Spark and Creativity that have done absolutely outstanding work. It would be nice to reward them. It would be nice to bring in, it'd be nice, I mean, again, big picture, we could grow larger than just Portland. You know, we could be talking to other filmmakers in cities with other light festivals or significant light-based artists, so that we're going from being a small, localized idea to a regional or a national or even international idea. None of that happens without some kind of funding,
Right.
and the funding would come from either a big sponsorship or a distribution deal. Where that distribution deal is, I have no idea, but what we make is it's valuable, it's very watchable, it brings a lot of joy to people who see it. I'd like to think that there is some kind of market for it to get some money back into us, because like Teresa, we've done every episode for $0. All of this has been or out of pocket in the negative. So
I want to clarify that not we haven't done it for $0. Multiple filmmakers have done it for $0.
the royal we.
Yeah, the royal we of indie filmmakers, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and they still like me, so I must be doing something right. But I think that first, I am bound and determined these episodes will not go dormant.
Yeah. They will be seen.
I do not. I feel a desire to honor each filmmaker by doing everything I can to bring this to market in a way that makes everyone proud. What that looks like exactly is shifting as the everything shifts, right? But I am keeping my ears open to opportunity, and I'm certainly out there embedded in with the artists in such a unique way, and building an audience from that point of view, and building press lists and everything else that goes along with that. I'm already thinking towards that and making those connections. Even this past weekend, meeting people from Shenzhen, China, and potentially going there and showing the films there. That would be incredible.
I mean,
right?
we've talked about, wouldn't it be great to go to other light festivals and host a screening, but all that stuff, you know, it costs money to travel, it costs money to rent a theater, it costs money to do marketing, it costs money to make t-shirts, to sell the t-shirts. It's you know, right now we're building something in the hopes of finding the right audience person who
I tell you what I
sees the
don't
value.
want to do. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I am so wholly not interested in trying to do a crowdfunding.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about crowdfunding. I know a lot of filmmakers use that. and some don't. And so, yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that it's a full-time job.
It is.
That I don't want to take on. I have enough of those already, and I really feel that there's an opportunity to go the route, and it is competitive, and it is just as hard, and it's another full-time job to go the route of sponsorship and of grants.
Yeah, a significant grant would change this whole thing for us.
And because I'm writing grants and I am now also embedded in several nonprofits, I've learned a lot about what that means. What does impact mean? I truly believe that a lot of filmmakers, photographers, artists out there forget what the word impact means or don't ever understand what that means. And if you can prove what that impact is of your product, whatever it may be, and make it so that the sponsor or the grant board sees this as they have fear of missing out, right? That if they don't fund this thing right now, they're going to miss out on the single best opportunity of their life. And how can they go back to their donors or their sponsors or their bosses and say, we funded this because of this, and look what we're getting now.
Right. It's making it fit for their mission.
Right. And so for each episode, I can start with, the Ministry of Stupid Ideas of looking first at their network and seeing what the impact is and where they are out in the world, and then building an audience from there, starting to look at what type of sponsors would be interested in that type of story. If it's a piano builder, right?
Right.
Or if it's the technology behind it. Every single thing that goes into every episode is a potential sponsor. And I'm not talking about a sponsor that's going to hold a can of Pepsi and go, drink me, right? Oh, can I rephrase that? A can of soda that says, drink me.
Nothing against Pepsi.
Yeah, but we're also not sponsoring them or in any way.
Do you have any sponsors that you want to shout out that we should be talking about, or you're still working with people?
I can say Regional Arts and Culture Council have been a supporter, and the Portland Winter Light Festival, absolutely.
Film Office.
The Oregon Film Office.
Yeah, they've been big fans of your work.
Yeah, but in particular, people who have financially supported it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
those two. And then,
Pro Photo Supply has done plenty of
Yeah, Pro
in-kind
Photo
work
Supply.
for both our filming episodes, but the other filmmakers we work with that have done episodes have gotten support from them.
yes, and it is also Chip Sloan at
Third Sound.
Third Sound. He donated quite a bit to that episode. But
It sounds like you have given it a lot of thought. You have
Oh,
been planning.
boy.
I think it's really smart to think about that before you make the film. And I think that message doesn't get out often enough to filmmakers, is you need to have a plan. Who is your audience? Who's going to see this film? Sure, we all love to just make films that we love to make and tell our stories, which are so important, but who are you going to connect with in that story?
right, and I feel very fortunate in the many life experiences I have had that I do marketing and I do press for a number of people. And so when I say, who is your audience, I'm always thinking about who that is
Right.
all the time. And so I now have a lot of my filmmakers within the series contacting me to ask me, how do I do press, or how do I reach anybody? And my first question is, who's your audience?
Right, who are you talking to? Yeah.
Right? And if you don't know, who's your intended audience? Who's your dream audience?
Right.
Let's make a list of all three of those. I can't do anything for you unless I know that.
Yeah.
Because if it's a story that's based in San Mateo, then that's going to be a different press list than one in Portland. right?
Yeah.
Unless there's an angle that connects the two.
Yeah. Well, and you do great work with the Portland Winter Light Festival, which I think we should mention that. An amazing festival in Portland. I feel fortunate that we have that here, that's been building. And it continues to grow. So getting the word out and, and I think taking this film to other light festivals, what a great idea, right?
I do. It involves it's all the questions always come up right after that, like, oh, you should take this to Lumiere, which is a light festival in Vancouver, Canada. Yeah, great. I'd love to do that. Where?
All right, right.
I'm not connected there. I don't know where the film, what film or theater. There we go.
Yeah,
There's the
venue.
word.
What venue would
Yeah,
you
where's
show
the
it?
venue?
Yeah.
And how do you sell tickets? Or if it's going to be a free thing, how are they going to pay me to get up there?
All those questions.
The content can travel in my pocket at least.
Yeah, once it's made, it's a product, really. It's, something you can take anywhere. Well, talking about dreams, you mentioned dreams. I always love to ask this question of everyone that's on the podcast. What is your big, beautiful dream? So if money and time were no object, what is your big, beautiful dream for yourself, for your life? It could be different. You may have different dreams, even though you're a couple, but it could be the same.
I mean, for Sparking Creativity, we were talking a little bit on the way over. One of the big ideas that, I don't know how we would pull it off, but would be amazing, would be to do a feature length in that we would identify 3+ artists or artist collectives and embed with them with multiple filmmakers for a year, 2 years, and follow the artist, not the art. Mm-hmm. I mean, we would tell the stories of the art that gets made as well, but we would take a much bigger, deeper dive into telling these stories, because the whole point of Sparking Creativity is to show the audience, tell people what goes into making that piece of art. Who are the people that make it? Mm-hmm. How long did it take them to make it? How much blood, sweat, and tears did they put in? Because when you're at a festival and you walk up and you see something beautiful, you are missing, and it's in that context you have no way of knowing, but you're missing knowing that they spent a year, half a year, or that there was a giant team of people scrambling for 3 months to build this giant thing, and how intricate and how deep it goes. And so part of the mission of Sparking Creativity is to let people see that, to feel that, to hear it, to understand it. So being able to embed and do a multi-year, multi-artist group story and then twist that all into a feature length with the same kind of heart and soul, the same kind of heartfelt storytelling, that would be a big, beautiful dream.
Yeah, well, I feel like you're surrounded by so many artists, wonderful artists here in Portland, that's possible.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just finding that sponsor dollar.
Well, right, it's all about the money.
Is that all? It's just that dollar. I think that for me, my big, beautiful dream, I'm putting everything aside and going big. I want an art barn with an adjacent building that is both residential and classroom space in order to host year-long artist in residencies, to be an incubator for loads of different artists, to overlap, and at the same time I'm making my own art and impacted by all this art, and turn it in, somebody can also film the whole thing and turn it into an ongoing, what's happening at Therese's incubator, and it becoming something so outrageously impactful to everybody, the artists, the viewers of said art, the audience, the stewards of the land, the everything. Like, it would have all the awesome gear, of course,
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
right? Because
Gotta have the toys.
so I'm talking, no budget here, so, and no limits on time. So I get to make my art, and also I get to tell other people what to do in making their art. I get to be my producer self, and somebody else can film it and turn it into a movie, and I'll go find their audience for them.
So part of the incubator thing is also, another facet of the big idea is if we can get this into a bigger, profitable in some format, but being able to fund other filmmakers to do what they do for sparking creativity, but not asking them to just throw in and make it happen, with scraps, but like, here is a proper budget, here is your assignment, go for it. Get yourself a small crew, go out, tackle it the right way, and come back with an amazing story for us. It'd be nice to serve, both of us enjoy the filmmaking process directly, but to be able to executive produce, to be able to act as, I don't know, mentor is the right word, but, provide something that I wish somebody had provided for us when we were at that position. That'd be great.
But all focused on artists, on people making art,
Yeah,
not
it's
just film.
such a rich subject.
It is.
And like, there's plenty of amazing artists here, but we have connections in many other cities through the Light Festival and through other things we've done. It's like we could easily go to Reno, we could easily go to Calgary, we could easily go probably Ohio. Like, there's places where there's amazing things going on. We just we just met people from Guangzhou that told us about a giant light festival there, and they showed us pictures. They're just mind-blowing, and it would be amazing to go there to film an episode of Sparking Creativity.
Right.
Find an artisan there and follow their journey on making these giant paper and light sculptures.
Yes, my art incubator would include filmmakers who could tell any story they wanted. And if they wanted to do a horror film at my art barn,
At the art barn.
I would allow it.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't limit it to just art?
No, there's just no limitations. That's the fun part.
That's Teresa's art barn. That's not
So would the
Sparking
art barn be
Creativity.
in Portland, or would you be open to having it somewhere else? Would you leave Portland for an art barn opportunity?
Oh, gosh, that art barn would have to be real special for me
yeah.
to leave Portland.
Yeah.
Portland is my home.
I see that perfectly.
I
Yeah.
love it here, and I love my community, and yeah, an art barn it'd have to tick off all the boxes
Right.
for me to leave. Hmm.
I don't think we can leave.
No,
We have two very deep roots at this point,
Yeah.
and
Portland's a
we
special
love our
place.
neighborhood, we love our neighbors, we love our friends. I don't think we would.
only after the kids left. And they're not our children, but we have 3 of them, and they live next door, and I'm not going anywhere unless they do.
Okay.
Well, they will grow up and leave. I hate to tell
I
you.
know, I'm so mad at
My
them.
neighbor kids are all like off doing things.
They're jerks.
I know. How do they do that? So, do you guys have other work happening, or is this seems like it's kind of your main gig?
Oh,
my
no.
God, I wish.
No,
but
we do so many other
You are
things.
multi-hyphenate. So what other projects are you working on currently? Like, tell me.
I'm building an insane art installation sculpture for the Maker Fair in Vallejo at the end of September. That the deadline is oh so fastly approaching, and I am so not close to being done yet. So that is taking a lot of my time. I've got the 2 episodes of Sparking Creativity that are sitting in the can waiting for me to touch them.
Because you edit also.
Yes, I do a lot of editing for the festival. I do editing for Sparking Creativity. I do my own editing. I think I'm an okay editor. I've seen editors who are amazing. I'm in awe of what they bring to it, but every time I touch it, I enjoy the process and I get a little bit better at it. So I hesitant to call myself an editor with a capital E, but at least a
But you
lowercase e.
edit. That's what I say. I'm not an editor, but I edit.
I enjoy editing a lot. It's to me part. I mean, you in your In your email to us, you asked for advice, and one of the pieces of
Yeah,
advice
yeah.
that was given to me a long time ago, and that I try to pass along is shoot like an editor.
Ooh, I love that.
Try to have your edit hat on while you're filming. Think about your entrances and exits. Think about how you get in and out of a scene, and try to shoot, whether it's for you or to make your editor happy. B-roll, give your editor plenty of B-roll.
Yeah.
Don't just shoot everything and let them deal with it. Be concise, be decisive.
I love that.
I have several art projects in progress right now. I should be getting one of them back from the powder coater today. I'm also taking several projects to Maker Faire, which is in San Francisco, well, outside of it. And so art is a big one. I had a piece at an event last week. I am showing at Pickathon this weekend. A lot. And you know what? I'm the one that's done this to myself. And so I'm working on the festival always year round. People assume that that's only 9 evenings, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's 9 evenings plus the rest of the year. In
When
order
you
to
start
pull that
working on
off
the next festival?
before the last one ends.
Right. So there is no time off. The festival never ends.
The festival never ends, and there is very little rest in there. But I'm enjoying my life so much in what I'm doing, and so I just have to keep going. I do have a brand new episode of Sparking Creativity just land on my desk last week. It's so good, but that's not going to be for a while.
Do you have a title?
Oh boy, gosh! Now you're putting me on the spot.
Okay, you don't have to.
Well,
we'll just follow you to find out.
Each episode is the title of the piece that it's about. So
Right.
this one is called Windows of the Mind.
Okay.
And it's about an artist collaboration of 2 artists in 2 different cities. Really interesting how that came together, and really hard getting it to come together. I almost killed that several times. I literally called the artist and said, I'm really sorry, we can't do it. I didn't get funded. I had applied for grants. I thought for sure we're going to be a shoe-in, and I didn't get them. And so everything had to change, and then the filmmaker was like, let's do it anyway. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay. And that was there was some dicey moments. But it's done, and it looks great, and I can't believe it. And then as far as advice, it's 2 words. Start today.
Oh, I like that. Yes. It's never too late. Start today.
I have seen and heard so many people say, oh, well, I just can't get to it, or that person over there has their audience already. I don't have an audience. Start today. Start working towards it today. There's no point in berating yourself for what you didn't do yesterday. I'll say that again.
Yeah.
There's no reason to berate yourself for what you didn't do yesterday. Start today.
Every day's a new day.
It is, and you only recognize your success when you look in the rearview mirror. Right? So if you start today, you get to look in that rearview mirror in a week, a month, and a year from now and go, oh, I did that. I cannot believe it. I entered into this whole world of light-based art installation stuff I never thought I was going to ever do. I didn't know a thing about LEDs or how to plug them in or how to power them or any of the other things you need to know. And I started one day.
Yeah.
And now 4 years later, here I am, talking about going to Shenzhen.
Well, and one thing you said, really is so important, and that is that you're doing what you love to do. And I think, that comes with age, I will say, that you don't realize that until you're older. But do what you love to do. Find a way to do what you love to do. There's so many opportunities, and life's too short to waste doing what you don't love to do, I think.
I completely agree. When people now ask me what I do, I hope I say it in the right order, which is I make art, I support artists, and I make documentaries about artists. If it doesn't fit into those three categories, I'm not doing it. It has to bring joy.
Yeah.
It has to. And I recognize my privilege. I need to say
Of
that.
course.
I know that I have opportunities that are not always available to everybody, and that is not off my radar.
Yeah, but I do think we can all find joy in what we do, because there is truly joy in everything, in every day, and it's never too late to start.
No.
So start today for sure. Yeah, I love that you two live your life that way. I mean, I can tell that you're very joyous and that you do that. So where can people follow along with your work? I mean, obviously, going to PFCAT, watching the short documentary block on August 21st at 6 p.m. So
Yep.
people should definitely get their tickets for that.
Please, sell it
That'll be
out.
in the show notes. What's that?
Sell it out.
Sell it out, yes, let's sell it out.
Well, and it's been nominated.
Oh.
Yeah.
For?
They didn't tell us
Oh, you just said
that.
it's been
We know it's been nominated for something.
We are a nominee.
Well, so you have to get tickets to see what the nomination is.
I guess so. I'm excited.
Yeah, very exciting. And you have Sparking Creativity is your website.
Yes, and that's
.com.
sparkingcreativity.art.
Oh, .art. Ooh, I like that.
It works, right?
Sparkingcreativity.art.
Yeah.
And Andy, you have a website which is both your websites are fabulous, but your website has such beautiful photography. Everyone should go check out. It's andybatt.com.
.com, and you can also go to my very meager art site, andybatt.art. That's where other things live. It needs a cleanup, but that's part of the Maker Faire goal, is to get a little cleanup done in there so you can see all the other weird stuff that I do. And Therese runs all our social for Sparking Creativity, so that's the best way to get in touch with us is
So
through
Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Instagram. Let's just stick it to Instagram
Yeah,
and
I know.
go.
I like Instagram too. That's kind of where I.
Yeah, and lastly, if you want to see my art, is at Twisty Maurice,
Oh.
twistymaurice.com, and Twisty Maurice on Instagram, and that is my art collaboration with my art partner, who I call my artner, and her name is Misty, so Twisty Maurice, Misty and Therese.
Love it. Love it. Is there anything else you guys want to share before we go?
Oh my God, thank you for having us. It was just such a delight to be included in such an opportunity.
Yeah, it's always nice to get a chance to let people know what goes into doing any of this work, because, our films are about showing people how other artists do things behind the scenes, so an opportunity for us to talk about our behind the scenes is always good.
Yeah, and I do want to add something actually. And one of the reasons why I wanted to create Sparking Creativity is that I am, as an artist and watching artists create art, they show it and then it's gone, right? And you just don't get that opportunity to tell the full story. And so this really is in service of the artists out there and for the audience to have a deeper appreciation for what they make.
Lovely. Wonderful. Well, thank you both for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
I
us.
look forward to seeing My Burning Pianist.
Yes, pun fully intended.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. You can find more information about the Portland Festival of Cinema, Animation, and Technology and the documentary My Burning Pianist in the show notes, as well as information on how to follow along with Therese and Andy and all of their adventures. Tickets are available now for the festival, the screening of My Burning Pianist, and the filmmaker Q&A. Be sure to subscribe and listen to this podcast for other interviews with filmmakers whose films have been selected to screen at this summer's PFCAT. I have some talented guests. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to share it with your friends. We'd love it if you could leave a 5-star review. Help us connect with more indie film lovers.
Would you like to support the podcast by becoming a guest or a sponsor? Reach out at OregonIndieFilm@gmail.com.